Sup nerds! Welcome back to my channel, guys! We are mic'd up and ready to go. I don't think it was like 100% necessary. I feel like most of my videos, I don't think I've had anyone complain that they can't hear me. But I thought it'd be super cute, fun, and fresh to just, I don't know, feel a little bit more luxe. A little bit more booktuber-ish. We'll see how this goes. If you're like, Marissa, it's not really necessary, that's fine. If you're like, Marissa, you sound stupid, also fine, you know, all the juicy tea. We're all friends here, so I trust your opinion and your feedback, of course. If you're like, oh, it looks cool, fun, and fresh, then okay, we can enjoy it together. Just let me know. If you're like, oh my gosh, I can hear way too much, like you swallowing, also okay. Also let me know. But I kind of wanted it because well, I ended up getting it because I was watching some of my old videos and I felt like I was so close up that I was like, Marissa, that is so cringy. Back up. And so here we are, a little bit farther back. I don't know, but again, like, just let me know what you're thinking. As you guys saw by the title, we will be doing a Book of the Month 2024 book end review. I did this last year and I loved it, and I almost forgot to do it for 2024, and then the Lord was like, Marissa, and I was like, oh my gosh, yes, thank you so much, because I love this video. I think it is so beneficial, I think, in general, because obviously Book of the Month is this monthly subscription. I think it takes like $20 out of your account monthly, which may not seem like a lot, but even if you just put $20 like in a savings account for a year, you'll have like a good amount of money, you know what I mean? So I feel like it's just always that conversation, like, is it worth it, is it not? It will definitely depend on the person, but I like to kind of do this review to show you what books I read, what books I didn't read, how many months I get the box, and how many add-ons did I do, that kind of stuff. I felt like that was super beneficial. So first, if you guys like Book of the Month, if you guys like talking about books, if you guys like all the nerdy things, and definitely give this video a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button. Without further ado, let's just get started. This microphone's making me like hyper aware of like every like sound I make. And so like sometimes I giggle and I hate it, so I try to like cut it out, but now I'm like, it's like right here, loud and in charge. All right, so first things first, we have our Book of the Month for January. I thought at first I didn't get one last January, but I did end up getting one. Actually, first I'll let you know that I had no carryover books from 2023, which is nice. Obviously that would be crazy, but all the books are luckily read from 2023 from Book of the Month. If you've seen people whose shelves are just full of Book of the Month books, they are unread Book of the Month books from years and years and years. Like, I do not want to become that person, so I tried to obviously read them, so that was a plus. I don't have any more of my 2023 Book of the Month, and then hopefully the same, I get to finish all the books from 2024. I do have some that I haven't read yet, but we'll talk. First, this is not a Book of the Month book. I think you could have got Ruthless Vows as Book of the Month book, but I actually got the audiobook for Ruthless Vows for October for January. And so you can use your credit for audiobooks or the physical copies. It's not every single hardback. Every single book, physical copy, does not have a audiobook, but they'll sometimes do random audiobooks from like old videos, or from like, old books, or like old Book of the Month books, or just random every now and then. But it is nice because then it feels like girl math, you're not paying anything extra, you're getting it for free if you use your credit. And so I did get that. I like that. I didn't love this book, but I did like that. Again, it didn't feel like I was spending extra money on the audiobook, like getting it on Audible or something at the time, because it was still like newish at the time. So I'm glad that they did that. I think they had just started doing audiobooks in 2024, if I'm correct. Or it started just being more popular maybe in 2024. But I do like that. Obviously you're not getting a physical book unless you like add it on, but it is nice that they have that option if you're an audiobook girly. Then for February, I did get a book, and then I also did an add-on. So the book that I chose for the month was Ready or Not by Cara Bastone. I am so excited. She's coming out with a new book soon. I'm so excited for it. And I'm so glad that I found this author, which is obviously the idea and the point of book of the month, is that you're finding new authors that you might not have heard of unless you got it like in your book of the month. And I appreciate that. I love that. I tabbed this. This one is Accidental Pregnancy, but it is so good. Literally so good. And so gotta give credit where it's due. I gave this 5 stars, baby. This is such a great book, and so I'm really glad that I did pick this one. But then I also added on Heartless Hunter, which also was a 5-star by Kristen Cicerelli, and this one also has a new, this series has another book coming out soon. I'm very excited about this. This book was so incredible. It's a YA fantasy. This one is third person. I would say that is my biggest tip when you are getting books, fantasy books from, honestly, books in general, from book of the month. A lot of them end up being in third person, which is very weird, but I feel like it's just what happens. And so do your research if it bothers you. I have found a lot of third person books from book of the month that I love, like this one, so it's like it may be okay. But I would just do your research a bit. But whatever, to each their own. Love this. That I will say was a very successful month of February, because I loved both of those books so much. Then for March, yeah, I was like January, February, March. Yeah, then for March, I got A Fate Inked in Blood by Danielle L. Jensen. This one also has a new book coming out soon. I don't know, sometimes, this is from my experience. Most authors, if they have a book of the month book, some of their, like, if it's a series, they may continue it as a book of the month book. Maybe if it's not a long series. I haven't found any book of the month books that are like super long series. But a lot of the time the authors like to repeat with book of the month, but not every single time. So we'll talk. I don't know if this next book will be a book of the month, maybe add-on sometimes they'll do, or a choice, but I always think that that's nice. But I like this book. I didn't love this book. I definitely think that it's a lot of, like, it's definitely for a specific kind of person. I know a lot of people really like this book, but it was just interesting. It is more, what is the word? I was gonna say Celtic. That's not the word. It's more like, what is the word? I don't know, like Viking-esque? Is that the word? Something like that. Anyway, I got it, and I'm glad that I got it. It's definitely one that I'll, like, keep on my radar the next book, but we'll see if I'm not gonna run out of my way to read it specifically. It'll also tell you sometimes too on the Book of the Month app, like what books are like repeat authors, what authors have had books in there multiple times. I believe Abby Jimenez has had a couple. I don't know if all of them were, but I know she's had quite a few. But this is Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. Normally I would just buy the paperback, like the physical copy, but I was like, it's for a credit, like might as well just do it so I'm not spending like extra money. And I'm kind of glad that I got it as a Book of the Month, because this was not my favorite from her. I know, unpopular opinion, so I was like, it's fine. It's literally fine, and honestly, like, again, I still have the book, I still read the book, so it's all the same, no matter where you got it. It's just obviously not a collection, but maybe I'll get the paperback, I don't know, but I am glad that I got this one. And this is, like, again, one of those authors that is just, like, an incredible author, a very popular author, and you can get it in your box. Yes, for $20. So it's like, again, just have to depend, because for $20 you may be able to get like 2 different books. I think their flex is that they're hardcovers, and so like which is true, like hardcovers can be like 30 to 40 freaking dollars depending on where you get it from. So I totally understand that, but I definitely, like, hardcovers are not my favorite way to read a book, so it just like depends on your preferences. You guys, in May, your girl went crazy. I got 3 books. Are you joking? So at first I started off with, I got 5 Broken Blades by Mike Horland. This was one of the books that I was talking about where the second book was not a Book of the Month book, but it's fine. But I am glad that I found this book from this author, because again, another book that I probably wouldn't have been on my radar if it wasn't a Book of the Month book. But I loved this. I gave it 5 stars. I ate this up. Basically, it's like 5 different, they have different talents. I was gonna say assassins, but they're not really assassins. They are 5 different, like, they're not even criminals. They're just 5 different people, 5 different stories, something like that. You get like 5, or you get more than, I think it's like 6 or 7 different point of views from this book, but it's basically a bunch of different people who they brought together to kind of complete a task. And so this is very like Six of Crows-esque, but I think this one's better. I said it. This microphone is making me bold. And I love this and I cannot wait to read the next one. But you can get it on Kindle Unlimited as well right now, but I was very happy about this one. Again, and not all of these are read the month that I got them. Let's keep that in mind too. Sometimes I like let them simmer, yeah. Like if you guys see my TBRs, you'll see like sometimes they'll sit there for a while. But I think just like, and that's okay because I do that with regular books too. But I think again, it's just it's a matter of like seeing if it's for you, if that's gonna work for you and your like reading preferences, if that makes sense. But I also ended up getting 2 romance books. So I added on The Paradise Problem by Christina Lauren, which I really wanted to read a Christina Lauren book, so I was very excited about this. It's like a shorter one. It was super cute. Loved like the whole cover and all the good stuff. So this is checking all the boxes. I really enjoyed this book. I don't think I gave it 5 stars. I think I gave it like 4 point something, but still an incredible book. Super fun. It was perfect for getting into the summer feels. And this one, when you do add-ons, they're cheaper. So these add-ons were $12.99, which I felt was worth it, and it was perfect because then it could like sit in my book of the month section. Like it was working for me, so I did it, you know? Same with this book. This is Happily Never After by Lynn Painter. Again, a shorter one that was super fun and fresh. I had only read I think 1 Lynn Painter book prior to this, and I really enjoyed this book. It's not one that like pops in my brain a lot, but I definitely thought at the time it was super cute, very fun. Basically, like, you could hire them to be objectors at weddings, and I thought that was the most fun thing ever. Again, perfect for summer, great timing, and it was a great add-on. Those are hard because it's like technically I probably could have got those for cheaper, like if I bought like the paperbacks or whatever, but it's just like, I don't know, it's not always like just I'm not always gonna just go to the store to buy those books, you know what I mean? So it is nice sometimes when they're right there on your phone, on your they're shipping with your box anyway, so you don't have to pay additional shipping or anything like that. I don't know what kind of vibe I'm giving off. Am I giving that I love or hate Book of the Month? Because I really do love Book of the Month, so keep that in mind. I also forgot to mention, I am not sponsored by Book of the Month. Nothing like that. I know a lot of people are, and that is why I think this video is so much fun to film and so important and so relative, because so many people are freaking sponsored by Book of the Month, and every single month you get the video where they're like, oh, sponsored by Book of the Month, and so you never know, like, let's be so for real, you never know if they're actually giving an honest review. And I was thinking about that because I was like, what if Book of the Month like reached out to you? Of course I would be honored, but I definitely would have to ask myself, is it worth it? Because I don't get a book every single month, and so obviously I got a lot of books this this year, but not every single month, which we'll talk about a couple in a row soon. So like really just depends. Some months they don't have books that I like, and so I was like, I would never want to like force or like give off the impression that Book of the Month is perfect and you'll never get a bad book and like all the juicy tea. Like, it's not the case, and so there may be books that you don't like. So anyway, I digress. I don't know why I felt the need to go on that tangent. I'm not sponsored by Book of the Month, basically, is what I'm trying to say. But then we got my June box. So we got One Star Romance by Laura Hankin. I have not read this book yet. I know, it's been over 6 months at this point, but I didn't get a chance to read it over the summer, and so now it's like, now I have to wait for summer because this one I think takes place in the summer. I'm nervous about this one. This one also is in third person, so I'm a little bit nervous about it. I've never heard of this author, but I am excited about it. I think that, yeah, they're in a wedding together, like, I think Maid of Honor and, what is the other guy called? Best Man. I was like, Groom of Honor. The Best Man. I think that's what they are, but he ends up giving her book like a 1-star review, and so everyone's like, huh? And so I thought that was a great premise. I just have not read it yet, but I will. Is a repeat Book of the Month author, one of my favorite authors. I discovered her from Book of the Month, and I love her books. Every single time I'm like, I eat them up. This is The Rom-Commers by Catherine Senner. I thought this book was so freaking fun. I believe like he's a writer and she's helping him write or something like that, but like it's just very cute. I love her books because they're very heartfelt, very emotional, but they're also funny. And so you get everything in these books. They're quick paced and they're like not super long, so they're perfect, and you can get a lot of her books. I think you could still add on probably all of her books. I think, this past month Book of the Month, one of her books was like a featured favorite or something like that you could choose for your box if you wanted to. So love her. Okay, so then for July and August, so July and August, I did not get a book. And so when I do that, I like to keep the credit. I don't know if like, so I just let it like kind of like just I just leave it alone. I don't touch it or anything like that. And then I can use they still take obviously the money out of my account, and then I can use the credits on different months. And so when I do add-ons and stuff, so those were the only 2 months that I didn't pick a book. But so it's not bad. Again, a 12-month year, and for 2 months I didn't pick a book. That's obviously that's a good statistics, if you will. But again, it may not be worth it for you or whatever it is. Just wanted to mention that. There are also, again, there's the two, this is the second month. Okay, never mind. Next we have September. So I did get an audiobook for When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker for September. And honestly, like, to be completely honest, those 2 months that I got audiobooks is because there was no physical books that I want. So kind of, that would have been like 4 months that I wouldn't have got a book, but I ended up getting an audiobook. So it did take the place. So it's kind of like, again, depending on you and your preferences. But this is a very chunky, very big book, and I knew that I just needed to listen to it, and so that was really nice. Again, this is like one of the popular books. It's very new. It's still like people are talking about it. People are loving it, even though I did not like it at all. People are loving it, and so it's a very great book to have like as an audiobook, especially because it's probably expensive on Audible right now because it's popular. So it's a great one to just get for like your credit or whatever. Especially like if you already took the credit out of your account and you're like, you know what I mean? You're like so about all the other books. So that's what I did for September. Then for October, I think a lot of this next stack I haven't read yet, but it's fine. October was a hard month for me to decide what books to get, and honestly, I'm a little bit annoyed. I thought I was getting one adult fantasy romance and one young adult fantasy romance, but they ended up both being young adult fantasy romance. Is it fantasy romance if I remember? So I think that this one is a young adult. This is The Dagger and the Flame by Catherine Doyle. Never read anything by Catherine Doyle, but this was like seemed like a fun one. I'm sure it's gonna be your standard enemies to lovers. But I wanted to check if like, because I'm pretty sure that this was like a weird one where this one I thought was an adult fantasy. That's why I got it, but it ended up being young adult. Hold on. Yeah, it's young adult fantasy romance, which I did not know. It's high fantasy as well, which I don't know. I'm still interested. I'm still probably going to read it. I'm going to hope to read it, but if I don't read it, I will get rid of it before the end of the year, because again, I don't want to carry stuff over, but I'm excited about this book. Obviously, it was enticing enough for me to choose it. I think too, honestly, during like October, November, even in December, I was in a really weird mood where I did not want to read that much fantasy. I was reading mostly romance, which like never happens to me. And so that was another hard one because it was like a bad timing, to be completely honest with you. But that one is exciting. I feel like, again, from what I thought, people were liking it, but on Goodreads it has a 3.91. So it has like basically 4 stars. So I feel like that's pretty like average. So I don't know. This book, I'm really excited about it. I just have to, like, again, pull the trigger. This was on a TBR and I haven't read it, but I do really want to read it. This is The Wild Huntress by Emily Lloyd-Jones. I think basically there's, like, a sort of, like, challenge or, like, some sort of competition or something like that. But this one sounds super exciting. I think this one is YA, though, too. Yeah, it's young adult fantasy, which is not always my favorite, but again, I will give it a chance. I'm nervous about it, but I'm also really excited about this one. This one I'm more excited for than The Dagger and the Flame, to be completely honest with you. But I'm interested. I don't know if it's going to be love triangle, though, because I think they mention, yeah, there's 3 people they mention. And so I'm like, I don't know. So like this one, it's made me nervous, but I will read that eventually. The month of November was an exciting time. So again, like I said, I was in more of a romance mood. So I did choose the P.S. I Hate You by Lauren Connolly as my romance, and I have read this already. So if you guys did not see, I tried to read 12 books in 12 days, but this was in that video, and I really enjoyed this book. I thought it was great. There's a lot I loved about this book. Do I think like it's like the best, most developed book ever? No, I would say like this book takes place over like 3 years, and it's pretty short for a 3-year time period. So I felt like there were certain things that were like not overly developed or like not developed to like what I would love. But I think that this is maybe a debut. I don't know. I'd have to check. Oh, I'm a liar. It's not her debut. But all her other ones look like maybe fantasy. I don't know. Actually, no. She has some other romances. I don't know. But, Okay, that negates what I was gonna say. I was gonna say if it's a debut, then like obviously that makes sense. But since it's not a debut, I don't know. But I think I gave this like 4.5 stars. Like still amazing rating. There's just a couple things that weren't my favorite, but still a great book to get as a book of the month, because another book that I would not have bought if it was not in a book of the month. Who told me to go this direction? That was so stupid of me. I don't know. But that same month, I ended up getting The Road of Bones. This is the Ashen series, book 1 by Demi Winters. I just thought this was super interesting. Obviously, it looks a little bit spooky, scary, but it says, let them think us lambs when truly we are wolves. And so it's just like, you know, when there's fantasy romance, I kind of take my chance on that. So like this hardback says that it's US $30. So obviously you're paying a lot less than that for the book of the month. But I don't really know anything about this. Oh, this is another Viking inspired. Did I say Viking earlier? I think I did. There's another Viking inspired one. So in this epic and immersive Viking-inspired romantic fantasy, a woman fleeing a ruthless assassin accidentally joins forces with a group of mercenaries and must use all her cunning to escape with her life and her heart intact. I'm excited about that. That one's I'm more excited about this one. Like I don't know. The Dagger and the Flame's the only one that's not like, you know, doing it for me, but like I'm really excited about all the other ones. Okay. Also should mention that month, I don't know how many book of the months you need to get, but I ended up getting a book of the month bag. So they sent me this cutie little tote. Sorry, a little dirty. But it says like obviously book of the month, and then it has like a little pocket here where you can carry the book of the month books. They fit in here. It's super cute. It's spacious. The inside has a little pocket as well, which is nice. And then they do have a little flyer. The front, it's for the front to magnet, so like the pocket to magnet close. That's all I was trying to say. Sorry, it's for the pocket in the front, not the whole bag, but it's fine. It's fine still. A magnet somewhere is really nice. So I thought this was super cute. Again, no charge. It was just like a free book pocket tote. I think it was like once you hit a certain amount of boxes that you got, they send you like a free gift, which is super cute. Every month too, they send you like a little bookmark. For the holidays, they send you like cute little holiday stickers. Like they definitely tried to make this a super fun and worth it experience. And so it really, again, it just depends on what you're looking for, but I definitely think that if you're someone who's likes to try new books or new authors, or you know what you like, but also you want something fresh, a little bit new, then this is a great way to do it. I do think they do have some staple authors in my life that I love, but also some staple authors I feel like in the book community, which is really nice, but also some new ones. It's really nice too because sometimes you can get books that are like, you know, you never know if they're going to be the next big thing. You know, you never know. And so a lot of these books like have become the next big thing in my reading, like Five Broken Blades. I love Heartless Hunter. Like those are very popular books currently, I feel like. Cara Baston, what is that called? Ready or Not has become like a lot of these books have become very popular, so it is a great way to get it before everyone else is like fiending for it. It's perfect. Sorry, one more month. We have December, of course. So I had chose this book and I'm so glad that I did. I did read it already. This is The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year by Ali Carter. I've been talking about this book nonstop. I feel like I've mentioned it in like every single video, but this book is so incredible. And so basically it's like two authors who write like mysteries. An author invites them over to their house for the holidays. Well, crap hits the fan. Something starts to go wrong. So they basically have to figure out what's happening, and I love it. It feels like a giant game of Clue. It's very short, very quick paced. It's close the door. It is perfection, and I love Ali Carter now, and I would have never bought this book if it wasn't for Book of the Month. I will say that. So I was very happy about that book. I did add on Where the Library Hides by Isabel Ibanez. So actually in 2023 I did start this series, so it was one of the 2023 books. It's called What the River Knows. So this is book 2. I don't know how many books there's gonna be, but I had found this series through Book of the Month, so I was very excited to have book 2. I obviously haven't read it yet, but I'm excited. This one I think they're like a really weird, I don't know, age, I feel like, where I think they're adults. Maybe it's not YA. Let's just check. But I know that series is like female Indiana Jones, they call it. Like it's very, I don't know, it's very fun. But there is a little bit of romance, and so I also love that as well, obviously. I obviously don't know how much romance is in this one, but I know the first one was like a little drops of romance. Fantasy, it's, wow, they have a lot of little tags here. Fantasy, historical fantasy, romance, young adult, fiction, historical, mystery, historical fantasy, adventure audiobook. So it has a lot of tropes. It's really hard to describe, but it's really good. So loved that. All right, so that was like kind of the year-end review. My final opinion, obviously I've read and loved a lot more than I have not read. And so obviously I only skipped 2 months technically. So I definitely think it's worth it for me, and I'm going to keep the subscription for a while longer. This month I will say, January 2025 though, I did not pick a book. And I'm like, I hope this is not the train we're going on, because a lot of them, this was like literary fiction, contemporary fiction, historical fantasy, contemporary fiction, thriller, historical fiction. Are you joking me? I don't read any sort of historical fiction or contemporary fiction or whatever it is, or thrillers. I think contemporary fiction, like, I don't know, maybe, I don't know, but I didn't want that book. Or I don't read thriller or mystery or anything like that, so I was so sad. So I didn't pick a book for this month, and then all the audiobooks I just didn't want either. So, but anyway, there was a lot of books that I did not want, and then the audiobooks I didn't want either. So I did not get a book this month, so I hope that's not the track we are going on, to be completely honest with you, but we shall see. Again, I'm a romance curly. I like a good romance. I like a good fantasy romance, and I don't stray too far from that. So obviously it's like on me because I don't diversify my reading, which I could do through Book of the Month if I wanted to too, because they do have a great options if you are a thriller or like just a contemporary fiction girly. Like there are definitely options for you, yeah, it's not my favorite, but all in all, I would say Book of the Month is worth it. It does, again, it's like 19 something a month, which is insane, but I definitely feel like it ends up being worth it in the long run, in my humble opinion, because a lot of these books I just wouldn't have found. I wouldn't have looked at, they wouldn't have caught my attention if they weren't in Book of the Month. I feel like there was something else I was gonna say, but I don't remember. And the stupid thing is acting up. So that is it for this video, guys. I really hope you, wow. That is it for this video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, nerds!